The fighting is brilliant. The jump scares, the gore, I get all that. It's a very, very sexy film. I get all that. But for me, the moment where Perry is talking about his Albanian nan, moments before they're gonna brutally murder him, that makes me smile. And I hope that's. I think there's an audience for that, and I hope that's what the audience like.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that we talk about in horror sometimes where low budget horror is like the creative kills aren't there. Well, the thing is, you had creative kills in your films that weren't horror. so you're already one step ahead for your first full on horror genre film. You've kind of already had to think about things like that, the where the blood's going and how the job's going to be done. That must be. Was it still challenging to kind of think, creative kills for a horror film slightly different, or did you just think about it in the same way?
No, so obviously, like I said, my business partner does the VFX and all that. So she's like me. We don't sleep. We panic about everything. We second guess everything. So we spoke through how we was going to do, like how we was going to execute these moves. And then we worked very closely with Spencer, who is worth his weight in gold. I would never do any sort of action film without him. Although if other people looking to hire him don't, he's terrible. But he's brilliant. So we spoke through the story beats. We spoke through how he was going to do it. And then I literally went, let's just be outrageous. Like the most stupid, like ridiculous ways of kills. The tagline for this is revenge is a dish best served cold while wearing killer heels. And one of the girls in it, like I said, Rebecca Michael, she's going to be a star. She's amazing. But she's, I think, 4'11", weighs 42 kilos. And she walks around with killer heels. She'll kick you with the heels and she'll slit your throat. It's absurd. And there was one moment where she just bashed up Darren Tassel, who 6'2", great actor, looks like Millwall, and she bashes the fuck out of him. And then she goes to do a kill in a certain way. And my first Andrew, again, he's brilliant. He went, was it Andrew? Someone went to me, Mike, I don't know if I believe this. And then someone else came in and went like, it wouldn't, the method of kill wouldn't do that. It wouldn't have that impact on the skull. Right. Hello, fellas. I went, hang on. First thing I went, it's Jackie the stripper. I went, we got little Rebecca kicking the life out of Darren. I went, she's called Moonbeam. I went, we're all vigilante strippers. I don't think, again, if someone comes up to me, if one of the comments on IMDb is that kill wouldn't have happened in that way, the skull would have been far more, they can fuck off. You know what I mean?
It's a movie. Yeah.
It is a movie, and it's not. As I said, it's not Schindler's List. We're not creating a really important. We're not telling an important story. We're not creating an important moment of history that needs to be remembered and done. Where we're saying to people, are you a little bit bored? Do you fancy spending 90 minutes on something that's absolutely absurd? The action will entertain you. The absurdity will hopefully make you laugh. And hopefully at the end of it, you'll be glad that, I've always done that as a writer. People always say to me, what's the point? What's your message? I don't have a message. If I'm not a politician, I shouldn't have a message. Don't listen to me. Morally, I'm terrible. Don't listen to any of my messages. Please don't, It's worrying that I've been allowed to raise 2 daughters. And luckily, I let YouTube raise them. So, they was raised by YouTube, and that's where they've got their morals and American accents, which is weird. But, all I want to do, if you're going to dedicate your time to me, all the films that are out there, if you're going to take your time to watch my film, if you're going to take your time to go to the cinema to watch my film or at home, I'm honoured by that. I'm honoured by you trusting me with your time, because time's limited. We're all going to be dead one day. And if you want to waste an hour and a half of your life watching my film, I hope you don't regret it. I hope it makes you smile. That's the whole point. And that to me is what film should be on a very, very basic level.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, we can forget about everything. You don't want to be reminded of the world sometimes, do you? You just want to forget about it and enjoy yourself and be entertained. And there's not a lot of that.
Yeah, who don't want to watch a load of sexy strippers bash the life out of a load of horrible men? Like, come on, it's
When you put it like that, how can you resist?
yeah. And funny enough, we're just working on my next film, which is a meta comedy horror, and it's about a film director who blags some money off a fame-hungry gangster, spunks it up the wall rather than making a film. And he's down to his final 25 grand, so he decides to make a slasher horror, and then the slasher horror becomes the folklore that they're based it on is a real story. It's not folklore; it's real. And the tagline for that is when art imitates death. And again, it's the same thing. It's all tongue in cheek. It's very, it's very laughing at the industry, lovingly poking fun at the genre and the tropes, and when the genre's done bad. We're making a bad horror film, and we're almost laughing about the fact that we are making a bad horror film.
That sounds so much fun. That sounds like there's a lot of space in the horror, British horror, certainly for that, I think, where there's a knowingness and there's a little bit of comment on it, because sometimes in the low budget films, when it's played straight and there's some that I've kickstarted that I've actually been in where they've asked me to film something and they've cut me off when I'm halfway through a word. So there's like not a lot of time has gone through the editing process and things like that. There is a lot of space to lovingly and inform from somebody who's making films to kind of poke fun at that in a really clever way. So I'm really excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, and also poking fun at the casting process. I mean, when I had the play go out in the West End, it was David Shaw, Dan O'Reilly, Paul Denan and myself doing a play based on true story. And I rang up a very big news desk and I said about the story, and he went, and? He went, you're ringing me up to telling me that actors are making a play? He went, that ain't news. He went, get them having a punch-up or doing a line of cocaine. He went, that's news. And all of a sudden the penny dropped and I thought, okay. So in my films, I've always tried to do a casting like with The Spin. We've got Tara Lynn O'Neill from Derry Girls, she's the female equivalent of Perry Benson. She's brilliant. But all the noise has come from Moira Higgins because she's from Love Island. Now, she's a very good actress and she does a very good job. But that's what people want to talk about. So you've got to use that. You've got to use that tool. If you can't afford to cast a Tom Hardy or a Margot Robbie, which who can, someone that will command the media, you've got to be clever. And Vinnie Jones in Lock, Stock, that was a genius casting. And for me, that sort of broke them. And we actually referenced that in the film that we're making at the minute, or we're about to make in a couple of months. So you've got to knowingly love that, but you've got to respect the industry to then poke fun at it. You've got to respect the genre to then poke fun at it. You've got to, you've got to have a level of, level of love. That's when it's like with family. I messaged my uncle the other night, and he went, he was meant to turn up, and he didn't. He went, sorry, son. I went, no, I'm just glad you're not dead. Winter's not your friend at your age. and I can say that because I love him. It's okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's the way. I don't know if it's a uniquely British thing, but it's the way we show love. Certainly, men. When it's hard to sometimes. I think as you get older, it's a bit easier to say how you feel, but when you're getting really like for example, my dad's in his 90s now, and he kind of gets a bit more tearful. He never used to be like that, but he gets a bit more emotional and he says nice things, and he never wasn't doing that in his 40s and 50s. So we do it in different ways, don't we? It's a different as the kids would say, it's a different love language,
Yeah, it is, and it's gallows humour, but I think it is a British thing. It is something. Just a quick story. There was a deal going on in Belgium, and my granddad ended up getting shot at, and my nan, rather than being concerned for him, shouted at him like it was his fault he was getting shot at.
Sold him off.
How'd you get away? When I run around the back of the church, he went, I sort of died behind a gravestone. And he went, look on the bright side. He went, if I'd have got shot, he went, you wouldn't have had to take me far. And that's the sort of humour that with Bermondsey Tales, obviously it pans the empty room because everyone's passed away. And because I'm not glorifying gangsters, someone said that Bermondsey Tales is trying to glorify gangsters. We all die. Where's the glory? There's no sequel to it. We're all dead, So it ends with the empty room, and it ends on a shot of me mum, me nan, and me granddad, and they've all passed away. And it says "Three of Bermondsey's best." And again, my uncle messaged me, went, "Oh, I've just watched it, son." He went, "Seeing mum, nan, and granddad really made me tear up." And I went, "Yeah." I was desperate to put you in it as well, but you ain't done the decent thing and died. I went, "You're still here." I went, "So you didn't make the photo." And I think that's the same with films. Jackie is like that. There's a lot of there's a film. One of the kills is a film director who makes cheap shit gangster films. Me. And there's the director, there's so much, fix it in post, which is something I say and get told off for. And then there's a moment where they go, "Oh, what a horrible man." And then the woman that's about to kill him goes, "Yeah, and he puts himself in his films. What an arsehole. I hate when they do that." And then in the next scene, I turn up.
Yeah,
I put myself in a scene with Emily Wyatt and Patsy Kenzie because I'm that kind of dickhead, But I think if you can't poke fun at it, and again, some people don't get it, some people don't like it. So Jackie ain't for you. The next one, Once Upon a Time in Avesbury, that's definitely not for you.
That sounds I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I'll let you. Yeah, but I'll send it through to you and all that when we'll
have a yeah. Oh, yeah. It's great. It's funny. Part of what I do sometimes, I'll do a bit of like script editing and things like that, and I'm lucky enough to see people's projects before they're finished, and it's so fun to see the drafts and see how things change and how they the initial ideas, and it's great to hear you explain them in such a vivid way. That idea of, because it all links, each film in a way feeds into the next one, doesn't it? And that's where you are now.
Yeah, I think there's a progression. So you see what works, and like I said, the gangster films, they're a hard sell. There's no doubt about it. They're a hard sell. Jackie it's going out in cinemas in at least 3 continents. That's mad.